I always tell parents that your number one job is to provide safety, predictability, security for your child. That's your number one job. And of course, that takes many forms. There's material security, but a lot of parents just end there. And I don't want to say something that negatively casts any type of aspersions on men, but I want to say as a father that there is that certain occupational hazard of feeling like, look, I work so hard. And even if your wife's also working, but there's something about men that we identify with our work so much. And it's like, I work so hard, I pay the bills. And then it's like, what else do you want? Well, material security is the first level. Obviously, you think about like, for instance, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So you got to have bread on the table in order to explore the meaning of life, right? But it doesn't end with just material security. There has to be emotional security, which means ultimately, like I always tell parents, if your child's going through something and they need to confide in somebody, and it's not you, then there are only two other options, two other possible scenarios that are the reality. Either when they've got something going on, they have no one to go to, in which case they're terribly alone, or they found somebody to go to and you don't get to pick who it is or what values that person has. So one of the big jobs of parents is not just to be the one who provides a roof over your child's head, but also to be the go-to person that they can seek out when they need grounding, when they need to be, I don't mean to get grounded like you're grounded. I mean grounding like to be emotionally regulated when they're panicked, when they're afraid, to talk through something, to be able to find that shoulder to lean on. And the one word again that I use to sum it all up is stability. And that's it's just everything. It sets you up for a lifetime when you have it. And when you don't have it, conversely, it's a lifetime of struggle overcoming it, which it can be done. It can be overcome, but it's a lot of work.
I think a lot of parents hear this and they see these videos on Instagram and maybe they've had a very traumatic childhood that they're recovering from at the same time that they're raising their own children. And there's so much fear. What if I'm already messing it up? What if I've already ruined my child's life? I think very, very, very good parents have those feelings every day. And you talk a lot about this. And you've even done a video about, is it too late to be a good parent?
Right.
What is your answer to that? What do you say to those parents? It's never too late.
Never too late. Never too late. I mean, obviously you shouldn't use that as an excuse to put it off, but I've seen it myself. I have a parenting course at this point. Over 2,000 mothers and fathers have gone through it. So I've had the privilege of watching families pretty front and center. And a lot of the parents who I've been involved with, their oldest kids were still in diapers, but a lot of them, their youngest kids were married and out of the house. And I've seen parents of adult children. I'll tell you a wild story that happened. I don't want to give too many details, but I was at a particular speaking engagement, and right before I went on, a woman came over to me. I'd say she's probably 30. And she said, I just want to let you know that I took your course, your parenting course. She says, but more important than that, I want you to know my mother took your parenting course. And she says, and I want you to know that we're all married and out of the house already, but my mother took your parenting course. And I said, did you see any change? Like, I asked this woman, did she see any change in her mother from taking the course? She says, I want to tell you something. Not did I see change. She said, my husband came to me and said, since your mother took the parenting course, our marital issues have resolved themselves. And
wow.
As she told me this, another woman comes over and puts her arm around the first woman. And I suddenly realized, like, at first I thought maybe they're sisters. And then I realized this is her mother.
Wow.
And it was the mother that she was just speaking about. So I wasn't at liberty to divulge all that, but I figured it was fair, it was fair game to mention that she'd taken the course. And I said, "Oh, I heard you took my parenting course." And she smiled. She says, "Yes, I took it. It was great. Even though all my kids are out of the house already, I took the course. It was great." And then the daughter says to me, sort of like finishing the conversation that we had started before her mother showed up, she looks at me and she says, "It's amazing how one thing can affect so many things." And she didn't elaborate because her mother was standing right there at that point, but she was referring to the fact that her mother's healing improved her own marriage, meaning the married daughter is experiencing healing in her marriage with her husband because her mother is becoming a better parent. So that was what she meant. It's amazing how one thing, the mother-daughter relationship, can affect so many things, meaning one example being the marital relationship of the daughter. And it's true. It's like, and that going back to that Ross Perot clip that you referred to, where I had that clip where I was commenting on how in the 1988 presidential election, or 1992 presidential election, he was saying how the foundation of society is the family. If you want the biggest bang for your buck, the spot where if you strengthen that, it will have the most, call it ripple effect, it's in parent-child relationships. It's amazing how one thing can affect so many other things.
Hey, this is Shais Taub. You were just watching a clip from this class. If you want to get the full context, the full class that this clip that you just watched was from, you watch right here. Click right here. Here.